Hello, my small wonders. Are you ready for a story? I'm Tracy, and I have another set of Curious George's 3-minute stories to read to you today. Shall we begin? This one is called Curious George to the Rescue. Oh, look, he's wearing roller skates. Do you know how to roller skate? This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George was curious about roller skating. Hundley the Dachshund was the first to try out the new skates. Hundley went fast. Too fast. George followed his runaway roller skating friend. Red light means stop. Green light means go. Well, he looks very worried, doesn't he? Hundley hoped the girls in the park would help him stop, but they just sent him on his way again. Backwards. Poor Hundley. Would George catch up with Hundley in front of the spaghetti shop? Look out! Gnocchi the cat is in Hundley's path. And look out, George! Oh, what a mess! George caught up to Hundley and Gnocchi at the top of the steepest hill in the city. He was just in time to join them on a wild ride into the lake. George walked his friends home. They were wet and muddy. George thought they'd had a good adventure. Hundley, however, didn't plan to go skating again anytime soon. I have a feeling Hundley didn't quite enjoy that adventure. Shall we read another one? This one is called Curious George, Time for School. Today is a great day to be a curious monkey. George is going to kindergarten with his friend Allie. At 7 o'clock, he starts to get ready. "Don't forget an apple for the teacher," says the man with the yellow hat. George makes sure he has his school supplies. There will be so many things to learn and do at school. At 8 o'clock, George and Allie are at the bus stop, waiting patiently. The bus arrives right on time, and they hop on and ride to school. George and Allie arrive at school at 9 o'clock. Do you like their backpacks? What does your backpack look like? George is very happy to meet Allie's classmates. The teacher calls everyone together at 10 o'clock for story time.
Hooray!
The students all sit in special chairs to listen to the teacher read. Then the students talk about what they like most about the story. George likes the part about castles. What fabulous fun! At 11 o'clock, it's time to play at the water and sand tables. George loves to play with sand and to make a mess. Maybe it's cleanup time too. At 12 o'clock, it's time to eat lunch. George and Allie are feeling hungry after so much playing and learning. They sit down and enjoy their lunches from home. I wonder what was packed for them for lunch. Wow, the day is flying by. At 1 o'clock, George and Allie are playing with blocks. He wonders if they could use them to build a castle in the classroom. But George gets a little carried away. Wow, look at what they made. Luckily, the teacher loves the fancy castle they built for her. It's 2 o'clock. Time to go home. George has had such a wonderful day at school. There he is taking a nap on the bus. Let's do another, shall we? This one is called Curious George Dance Party. George was excited. He had just received an invitation to Allie's dance party. He couldn't stop dancing. He danced while he brushed his teeth. Sometimes he even danced while he slept. Do you dance in the bathroom while you brush your teeth? I sometimes dance in the shower. You have to be careful there. Sometimes it can be a bit slippery. But George's friend Bill didn't want to go to the party. "I'll be the only kid who can't dance," Bill said. "Look," said Bill, "even Mr. and Mrs. Rankins are practicing for the party." "This is called the box step," said Mrs. Rankins. George was curious. He didn't know that dance. The dance looked hard. Bill didn't think he could learn it. "Maybe I should tell Allie I have the chicken pox," he said. Oh, look, he's drawn red dots on his face to look like chicken pox. "Dancing should have a map. Maps show you where to go," Bill said. George thought that was a great idea. He counted the dance steps and made a map. Right steps were red and left steps were blue. He numbered them and made the quick steps smaller than the slow steps. What a clever monkey! When they got home with their map, something was still missing. George thought about Mr. and Mrs. Rankins. Of course, they needed music. The beat of the music made dancing much easier. He just moved his feet to the rhythm. The night of the party arrived. Bill was still worried. "I'll look silly using the map," he said. George looked at the map again. The steps were shaped like a box. All they had to do was make a box with their feet. Bill danced with Mrs. Rankins. "You dance beautifully," she exclaimed. "I wish I could do that dance," Allie said. Bill and George were surprised. "You mean you don't know it?" Bill asked. "I don't know any fancy dances," Allie said. "I just move to the music." Bill had been worried about dancing for no reason. "Could you teach that dance to the rest of us?" Allie asked. Allie turned on the music. She and George were dance partners. Look, they're the same height. Bill took out the map. He showed everyone how to do the box step. George and Bill danced all evening. It was great teaching everyone the box step, but it was even more fun dancing with friends. I think we can fit in one more. Curious George lemonade stand. George loved playing soccer, but he needed a new ball. "When I was young, I got a new soccer ball by running a lemonade stand," the man with the yellow hat said. The man with the yellow hat was going out. "I have to go out for a bit now. Speaking of lemonade, we can have some together when I get home, George," the man said. George looked at the lemonade in the refrigerator. This gave him an idea. He really wanted a new soccer ball. George brought the lemonade downstairs. He set up his lemonade stand outside his apartment building and waited. Out came the doorman. He was hot.
Hey, is that lemonade?
He asked. George handed him a full carton of lemonade.
That's too much, George. Do you have any cups?
The doorman asked. George ran inside. He came back with cups and filled one up to the top.
I still can't drink all of that, George, the doorman said.
The doorman poured half the lemonade into another cup.
That's better,
he said. George didn't know you could make 1 cup of lemonade into 2 cups. The doorman gave George a quarter for the lemonade. A quarter? George was confused. Where was the soccer ball? So George was confused. He thought that the doorman would give him a soccer ball, but he gave him money instead. Soon George saw Betsy.
I can help you sell lemonade,
Betsy said. Sell? Now George understood. He needed to earn the money to buy a soccer ball. Betsy had seen a construction site nearby. The workers were tired and thirsty. It would be a great spot to sell lemonade. It didn't take long for the workers to line up. Everyone loved George's lemonade. His stand was a success. Soon George was down to his last 2 cups of lemonade, but there were still 4 thirsty workers in line. George remembered the doorman's trick. He split the 2 cups in half to make 4. Now George had enough money to buy a soccer ball. George and Betsy went straight to the toy store to buy one. Then George remembered his friend. The man was looking forward to a glass of lemonade, but George had sold it all. George had one more big idea. George used his money to buy more lemonade, but his friend had a big idea too. He brought home a new soccer ball for George. George was a very happy monkey. Well, I think we have to stop there, my small wonders, and carry on in another video. Do you play soccer like George? I was never good at soccer or football, but I always loved to swim. I love the water. Whenever I'm sad or worried, or even when I'm really happy, I love to be around water, or paddling on the water, or even better, swimming in the water. Playing a sport is not only great exercise for your body, but sometimes it can make you feel better when you're playing with friends, or even when you're by yourself. Whether you like one sport or more, I hope you have a lot of fun playing this week. If you liked this set of stories, I hope you'll join me for another set of Curious George's 3-minute stories next time, my small wonders. Until then, bye-bye.